la 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 فتح زدلنا فتح مسرق خسي قوام زدلنا قوام مستقاسي رستنا زبلنا بيتنا مسفرسي زبرا زبلنا ألاف مسفرسي توم نطاط لبي خاب كدموم قزات باري رما حيسوم هاقروم نسو تراع مع سعبي بووم حتى ديمقراسينا ختيلوم كند خبري خند شلماتهم موقوح تآسيرهم عبود باد سفيرهم نحنا دما دليت فتحينا أب أسرو مالنا وشعور بايتونا سسينو وعقمنا فرزينو
I'm going to speak English and Tigrinya. We have a lot of youngsters. Just welcome to the event. And I'll really appreciate take the time to be with the youngsters. Before we do a minute of silence, I just want to start with one quote. It says, "Stand up for what is right, even if you are stand alone. Stand up for what is right, even if you stand alone." By Susie Carson. بعتقد بلا حدا حقني على كتأمن نجار ولا نوين هاخون دامبر زارب وين ما كنت مختار لكايد من بلد أجي كملمود وين ما the right thing. We're gonna stand up to do a 1 minute of silence to remember our heroes. ذكرى سماعتات نجبرينا لأن بسرعة program كنأتينا مالتي. Understand that? Salam. So friends, she will tell us more about the event. This is part of the Yakul movement we have in the region. Yakul makes us NATO قرنجاف وإدنا NATO فاتح نقول نقول mainly جن بدن عشت قواتنا تجمرة وتوجب قينو إحنا خندق فلت إحنا بجد لنا معنا ميديا بسفي ختبرها لنا الذي يمكن حجزا قديتنا ناتو a lot of young PFDJs worship the regime, right? And this ones are youngsters, they're against the regime. It's two opposite camps. So everybody on the just seeker side, we need to encourage those youngsters. So I'm going to invite Lydia to come to the stage and tell us what she has to say. Thank you.
Thank you for attending, and I hope this can bring about a positive impact. Today we're protesting to mark the 18 years since the Eritrean regime officially became a dictatorship. We are also here to advocate for the evacuation of refugees in Libya. Many who are Eritrean and victims of the regime. This is a collective effort by the organization One Day Seyoum. We are a group of young individuals fighting for human rights in Eritrea. We go by the name One Day Seyoum on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Please visit our page and learn more about our 18 Stone Years campaign and how to join us. So 18 years ago today, or on September 18, 2011, 11 out of 15 high-ranking officials, now known as the G15, were arrested for signing a letter calling for democratic and constitutional Eritrea. To this day, their conditions remain unconfirmed, but over half are believed to be dead. Of the remaining 4, 3 were in the United States at the time and now continue to live in exile. The last remaining member distanced himself from the group and rejoined the government. Subsequently, the Eritrean government shut down all free press and imprisoned numerous journalists. Their conditions are also unknown, and journalism still remains a crime in the eye of the Eritrean government. Eritrea is not a country in war or conflict, and yet thousands flee every month. The youth have had their dreams and autonomy robbed from them because of mandatory national service, which is legally supposed to be 18 months, but in reality is indefinite. There have been reports of physical and psychological abuse and sexual abuse, especially towards women, in unlivable conditions. Those in national service are paid sometimes 450 nakfa, equivalent to a Canadian $39.75 per month, and some even less. That is not nearly enough to live and support yourself or your family. Training begins in high school, where teenagers as young as 15 or 16 years old are taken to a military school known as Sawa, where there are also numerous reports of physical, sexual, psychological abuse by commanders who are never held accountable. The people of Eritrea have had every imaginable freedom from them robbed. You cannot criticize the government, you cannot practice certain faiths freely, or even move freely throughout the country. You cannot build your own home or expect it to be bulldozed and left homeless. You cannot simply select a profession of your choice or get a higher education. This is something the government has already decided for you. Jail in Eritrea means your family not knowing where you are or what condition you're in. It means being in a crowded metal shipping container that exasperates the heat throughout the day and the cold at night, with 30 to 40 people in it, little to no food, water, or medical attention. It means being in an underground cell, which many describe as feeling as if you're being buried alive. Many imprisoned are also forced to work. The Eritrean government does not need proof to imprison you. There are rarely any trials or charges, and a simple suspicion or even a notice from a civilian employed as a spy can land you in jail. For the past 18 years, the regime has created an environment in Eritrea of mistrust and fear. It has broken families apart and created a mass exodus. It has stifled the growth of the economy, the dreams of the youth, and the freedom of the people, which has already been fought for in our 30-year-long war from independence from our former colonizers. An estimated 5,000 Eritreans flee every month through dangerous routes. They knowingly risk imprisonment in Eritrea while they get caught, death, sexual violence, trafficking for slavery or their organs, drowning at sea, and many more tragedies with zero protection as refugees for a chance of a better life. Because dying abroad is better than remaining a slave in your own country. Many Eritrean refugees crossing the Mediterranean Sea are caught on boat by European Union-funded Libyan coast guards to curb immigration in Europe. They are taken back to Libya in detention centers with horrifying conditions. Some end up at UNHCR shelters that many describe as just as bad. Today we'll be hearing the stories of those who escaped Libya through WhatsApp voice messages.
سقاي زلنا مكرا زلنا شجر كنجلس نوقعنا بتعمي دسيل ندلو وحفشة نحنا قديات كينات كنسنا أم أسرتي علي كندي وانات نساقن علنا ولو مسكندي حموماتن مسكندي مكران كوفينا علنا خسافجيت مثل بالاي تقبرنا نحنا زلنا بوتا سمسرتن بوتا قدقتن بوتا شيئتن بوتا لوتن نحنا زلنا بوتا زاوية دبان كوينو نحنا كابين كشير عدد كيناتن سقاين موتن أقاتنا مزينا خنا بكا أبزقاني بعينا رينا يدين فلت بكا أحمق نجاراتنا نرمي أبزي سب شيات سب كلوات كندي بدك حزم يمصو أتقنا نحنا ولا شيء كذي تانيش نفس ولا نركب باجن كندي أويات له كندي كفل له كندي سقاي له نحنا نبعنا خمن قبيت بكيسنا عين فتيتنا أبقى فكر كخاني حمام تيمي بقى كلنا تلخفينا كل سب لي 4-5 دكون بزمرهني سيهم بحمام تي في بقى بتعم مقالو قديم كموت الغرب له أنا سي انتينا هنا ننتينا هنا قرتي تمت هدي قبرنا نحن أبتعتي نسعر لنا دينا نبال ينسعر بعلم أبزي له نحن أبتعتي نسعر لنا نقول بر نحن زلنا يزي بوتا سربيت بوتا مغزن بوتا شيء تنوت بوتا نحن ولا أنت بقى نحن لنا سبيلا وجاء شجرنا المكرنا قرب بقى زلنا يا قنزاسي أخو مستفاكم يكون بعبي خلنا نقول صلح مالنا ولا بملك أسئلة ولا بملك فيديو كمان إحنا كنا قرب مخينا كل تدلنا هو سمعنا بالطعمين إحنا مالنا بالجهم أنا هو تسوي تقولنا سقينا شكلنا خلالنا تحتنا نخبر
Hello, I am Abdulmunim Latif. I'm from Sudan, from Darfur, South Darfur. I live in Kalma camp. So from the war of Darfur, we arrive Kalma camp, and we begin to start our suffering again in the camp. But the organization, the United Nations organization, was helping us there in our camp in Darfur. But the other problem that the government don't leave us alone there when we are in the camp. So there was attacking us in our camp. Maybe it will be about 3 times or 4 times they're attacking the camp, and they're kidnapping the guys. Even they kidnapped me about 3 times. They was beating me. They was thinking that I am belong to the opposition. Yes, really, my family, most of my family are opposition. So that's the reason who was they are running me all time in the camp. In 2017, when Umar Bashir want to come to visit us in the camp, the people mind that they didn't want any visit of the president in our camp. So they was thinking that we was have something we want to do it in the camp, that we was have contact with the opposition, with Abdul Wahid, Muhammad Noor, and something like that. So they begin kidnapping the guys, and they kidnap me. They beat me a lot. So at last they bring me back to near the railway, the train railway. They leave me there through in railway near the camp. I tried to enter the camp, and after 15 days I leave the camp. Went to Al-Fashir. After Al-Fashir I went to Tina. Tina is a little village between Chad and Sudan. So I went there. I was decided to go there. There is another camp in Tina, Chad. So I was decided to go there to ask for help from the UNHCR organization. So there was Janjaweed, and there was Addam Syria Army. They was in the border between Sudan and Chad, and they're catching the opposition. They're catching the opposition there and kidnapping the people also. If they ask you, they will ask you where you are going and from where are you coming and why you come here, why you want to go to Chad and something like that. So I was scared from the army there. Also, I decided to go to Libya. I spent about 1 month there in Tina, and I was working to have enough money to leave to Libya. So I began my journey in 2017 in August. I was was begin my journey to go to Libya. I pay like just like $50 from Libya, from Chad to Libya. So when we arrived in a place called Kuri, it's gold place. We was working gold there because the man who was brought us, the driver who was carrying us from Libya, from Chad to Libya, he used us, he buy us, he sold us to another person, to Libya here in that place. So in Kuri, he was working to dig gold from inside the deck. So we were suffering too much there in the desert. We was working for that man about 5 months too, and we was not getting enough food. We were not getting even healthy water. We was drinking from that deck. We was drinking. So one day I was decided that I must run away to arrive inside Libya. I listened that there's also organization in Libya inside. So I decided to go. I decided to run away from that man. So I ran away from him when he was the Libyans was have some celebrating in the desert. So I tried to run away from that time, and I arrived to a place called Sabha. After Sabha, I spent also about 3 months. I was working there, and I found some person to arrive me in Tripoli. So in Tripoli is new suffering also. We suffering too much there in Tripoli because also they are selling. If you find any person you want to take you to another place, he will sell you. He will sell you, unfortunately. And they sold us also, and they was using us to clean their houses. They using us to work in their farms, using us in the bar and cleaning their cars, and even they are not giving us enough food too. So also one day he see that I was he stayed with him a lot of time, and I didn't make any struggle. I worked to him and something like that. He said he can't for me, so he said I will sold him to another person. Just also he sold me to another person. When he sold me, and another person who buy me, he said that I will take you to neighborhood called Eritrea. So when we arrived in Eritrea, I find a lot of Sudanese, so I took one from him. From the car, I jumped from the car, so I went and I find a lot of Sudanese, so I joined the Sudanese. And I stayed with the Sudanese maybe 3 days, so I asked them about the organization. I asked them about my story. Therefore, even I arrived here in Libya. So unfortunately also I didn't have enough money to find any transport to go to UNHCR. Also I began to work too. And I asked about the UNHCR, and they told me that yes, of course there's UNHCR here, you can go to UNHCR. And I have some papers from my camp. Some papers from my camp, so I took my papers. So I went to the UNHCR and I tell them about my story, and they opened the file. They opened a new file. So I begin going every day to the UNHCR, asking for freedom, for new life, for safety, for helping, and I tell them about my family, that my family is still there, and that my family is now is in camp in Darfur. So I didn't mind to tell them about my problems in Darfur. I just tell them the truth to the UNHCR, and they are working. Yes, they are working, but they are not working good. They can believe your stories and immediately they can help you. They listen to me just from Zawara. When I decide to leave Libya because I face, as I told you, in the UNHCR, that woman. She called rehab and she's working in the Sudanese embassy, and she's getting information about the people who come from Sudan, from Darfur. Especially, she's telling the Sudanese government in Sudan and something like this. She's working at a security woman here in the UNHCR. So I face a lot of problem from her. And she was telling some guys working also in that embassy, in Sudanese embassy in Libya. They are begin running me and they injure me in my leg. So I said that also this is not my place. I should have to leave Libya. So I came to Zawara. Zawara is near Tunis. I decided to come to Tunis.
He invited me to speak. I have been invited to talk about the situation and talk a little bit about me. First of all, I would like to thank Lydia and her colleagues for organizing such an amazing and bold move. This is crucial time in the ongoing quest for justice in Eritrea. Yakul or enough is moving and taking momentum, and to a swift result. So we have to give them a good cheer, and we have to encourage them. These are young and bold. And thank you for giving me the chance to tell my story. Indeed, the story of majority of Eritreans who have been facing all kinds of injustice under one of the cruelest dictators in our planet, and his puppets. Going back in time, after the deadly Eritrean War of 1998 to 2000, a promising democratic system was on the rise in Eritrea. It was remarkably fast and pervasive. It was amazing. We were so hopeful in Eritrea at that time. Everything was flourishing. I mean, the press and all democratic institutions were on the rise. But all of a sudden, things started to turn around. Darkness started to overshadow the people and the country of Eritrea. The regime under the president, who has been in power since independence, shattered everything because he was not ready to implement the constitution. He was a cruel ever since he was born. Some top government officials and who played a great role as leaders and fighters for independence sent an open letter to the president demanding for immediate talk for change and the implementation of the constitution. As a result, he targeted them and imprisoned them in September 2001. Anyway, that was the first resistance against the then secretly working to obstruct justice and who claim later a dictator. Ever since then, the regime started arresting anyone who demands justice and the rule of law. Anyone. It was an open arrest, open detention. Now I will see some of my experience and some of my worst experiences under this regime, under Isaias Afwerki. First of all, I was a freshman student. It was in my first year student in the University of Asmara. I was freshman in my first year in the University of Asmara. In the summer of 2001, nearly 2,000 students from Asmara University arrested and detained. I was one of them. So it was prior to the arrest of the G15 or the top officials who demanded for change. It was summer and then it was horrible time. We asked for some kind of right, and then it was in the beginning they tried to do things properly, but we were so resistant, we were so bold, we were so, united in the face of the challenge. So in the meantime, there was no chance for the dictator. He arrested us, and then he sent his tough and cruel guards, military guards, and he arrested everyone who had university ID in Asmara. They went all over Asmara and arrested. And then they sent us to one of the hottest or warm places in Eritrea, by the sea in Galalo and Wea. We were taken there, and then we stayed there, and then we were intimidated there. We were asked to say, we did this and this wrong, sorry. We were asked to say sorry, and then we were not ready to say that. But there was so much intimidating and harassing. Anyway, we stayed there for nearly 1 month. It was extremely hot and arid. We didn't have there was no shelter. It was so a kind of desert. That's one of my experiences. In my first stage of experience. Anyway, we went back to Asmara University, and then we continued to study, and then we finished it and graduated in 2005. And then from then on, we were in blacklist. We were taken as against the government. We were an opposition. Ever since then, the government put us mostly in military places, military camps. We were also, everywhere we go, they take care of us, they overlook us, they were harassing us everywhere we go. We were not given the opportunity to do a good or something for our country. And again, in 2005, I was teaching in Sawa. After graduation, I was teaching 12th grade in Sawa. And then there some of the military leaders in the camp suspected us. They told us, you guys want to flood the country. You had a plan, and they said, you have a plan to go to the Sudan. And it was right. They said it's right, and then they arrested that, and then I stayed in prison for 2 years. the most harsh, the most cruel place on earth. I can't imagine. I always see the people who were in prison with me. They were dying. There were all kind of mistreatment, all kind of cruel things. We were beaten absolutely every time, everywhere. In our heads, all over our body. I mean, that treatment is the cruelest part. I can't even forget I have kind of trauma. And then, look, there was thousands of people in one place. Prison in Eritrea is like it's just like building a real estate. Everywhere you go, there are prisons, thousands of people there. And then there, I was in Dasafa, it's called Shad Shai Brigade. It is, and then from there, I tried to break out of prison twice, and then I was beaten, almost to death. I was organizing inside the prison to flood out of prison, and then once we organized it, 5 people, and then we tried to break out, but it was not successful for me. Two of my colleagues fled the prison. I was caught, and then I beat one of the prison guards, and then that's the time everything was against me. All the military guards came to me at once and then destroyed me to death, almost to death. My whole body was swollen. And then in 4 months from then, we were taken to Ma'tar. I stayed in Ma'tar for 1 year. That was so horrible. It's a desert area. While we go into Ma'tar, we were almost 50 prisoners in one big truck. And there were soldiers all over the edge of the truck. Me and another guy were taken as very dangerous people. And then they cuffed us, they shackled us with the truck. Only 2 people. One of them was suspected as a trafficker. And I was taken as very dangerous. And then they said this guy might jump over and run away. And then that's why they did it. And once we get to Ma'tar, they told to the prison official that this guy is dangerous. So keep him somewhere differently. This along with my colleague who was suspected as a trafficker. So, but the official who was there was okay with me. He was a good guy. That's why they sent him there. He was resisting them. He was telling them why we are doing these things. But he said, no, he is one of them anyway. He is facing injustice. And then he kept me with them. And then I stayed there for 1 year almost. They were always looking at me. They think I would flood, but I stayed patient. And then I was trying differently to run away, to escape. And then suddenly I was taken to Sawa, back to prison, the same prison I was. And then there, I had a plan, very secret plan. And then from there, I was taken to the hospital to see a doctor because I was a little bit sick, and I was exaggerating it. But then, once we get to the camp, I fled very secretly. I ran away from them. I had a veil in my head all the time. That veil was all the time in my head. I never, remove it. And then they didn't know about my face. I was very sick in their eyes. But for me, it was a tactic. And then I stayed all the time on that veil. And I had also a jacket. Once we get to the hospital, the doctor checked on me, and then he said, "You are okay. You don't have anything. You are healthy. How can you come here?" No, I'm not healthy. I defended myself, but he was, and then he told me to do some examination. But once I got an examination, they told me to stay in the corridor and then to see the result. I was told to wait for the result, but I didn't wait. I had a paper. I had a white paper in my hand, and then I signed like a doctor, knowing that they would not understand it. And then once I got off the corridor, they asked me, "Where are you going?" Because the prison guards were all over the hospital. Just keeping us in. And then I told them I have to go to the pharmacy. And then once I got the pharmacy is a little bit away from the main door. And then once I got to the edge, I dropped my veil. And then I hold my jacket in my hand. And I just walked away straight. They didn't realize that I'm a prisoner. I walked all the way to there is a place, and it's called Namharan, teacher's place. So I hid there, and then I changed all myself. I cut my beard and everything. I changed all myself. I changed all my clothes. There were teachers there who knows me, and then they know about me, and then they gave me everything, and then they helped me hide inside. And then in 2 hours, I went back to the hospital. There was a friend of mine who was waiting for me. He was a sick guy. And then from then on, we started the journey to Sudan, and it took us 4 days. It was the most horrible. I was almost died on the way. And then another experience is, sorry to take a long time, but it's Libyan experience. As one of our people are saying here, Libya is one of hell on earth. It's really hell. To tell you the fact, we were running for our lives all the time. They were insulting us openly as slaves. They were calling us Abed all the time. They were treating us very crudely. Like what they said, what they need from us is money. They know. They say, because some of our colleagues are working with them. The trafficker, they know about our life. And then they tell them that they have money, and then you can take it from them. And they share the money with them. There are so many bad Eritreans, so worse people, traffickers. And then they come here in Europe, in America, and then they look like good people. But when they see their history, they know it. They are bad. And we know them. They took a lot of money from us, thousands. Once I remember, we were supposed to go to Italy through the sea. And then we were told to give them each person 1,500. And then they tell us that there is a boat out there. It's ready. Come on, let's go. Because we were eager to leave Libya. And then once we gathered in one place, in one big place, they took all the money, and then they came with another system, secret system that makes us run away from the place, saying that the police are coming, so you should run away. That's all. They got all the money. That's how they do all the time. They know the tactics. It's the Eritreans who always advise them. But Libyans didn't know about it at all in the first place. So I know so many Eritreans. Once there was one person who was named by Blenai, but it's not. He's well known. So Libya is, like I said, it's hell. So let's help these guys out, and then let's also move forward. Let's push for Yakel. These are young, imagine. They are giving us some kind of lesson that we can do ourselves. Let's do it. This is not story, this is life. Let's save life. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I wrote a spoken word for today for everyone to hear, basically about everything he was talking about, the cruelty that happens just in general. So I hope you guys like it. Isaias, it has come to the point where your name, quite frankly, makes me sick, but not as ill as your presence makes a whole country. Yes, on the outside, we happen to be an independent country, but what is being independent when citizens are dependent and reliant on a president that won't think twice before a kill, sees his country impoverished and stays completely still, watches with satisfaction as every single person tries to run up this never-ending hill? I say this as an outsider with so much pain when seeing a once beautiful place being destroyed by a cowardly face. This type of evil should be erased from the human race. Now imagine how actual citizens live on a day-to-day basis. May 1991, April 1993, 1994, 1997, 2001. All these dates represents the milestones and progression of the cruel dictator who is in front of us today. All these dates represents the thousands and thousands that tried to run away. All these dates in between and more represent the mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters, the world that lost the soul. Do you see why it's not okay? Let's break it down, shall we? 1991, the provincial government had him as head. That's progress to red. 1993, he was given complete control over both the executive and legislative branch of government. That's progress to red. 1994, you could see how he gradually consolidated his power over virtually every aspect of the Eritrean life. That's progress to red. 1997, Mr. President himself canceled the presidential elections. That's progress to red. 2001, the monster virtually closed the national press and any prominent opposition leader was arrested. That's progress to red. Ruining lives as he peacefully goes to bed. That's progress to red. Every breath he takes, every move he makes, that's progress to red. Every family he separates, that's progress to red. All the ones he catches at borders when struggling in Libya, Ethiopia, Sudan, and that's progress to red. Red is all he thinks that isn't said. The countless bodies that tried to flee in the sea found dead. Red is what will remain if Isaias is still head. Sustainable living, basic human rights, man, electricity, food, just water. Such necessities shouldn't be so difficult to obtain. People risking their lives to live, it's inhumane. A serious question is, yes, what do you gain? In inflicting pain, what do you gain? Eritrea beats North Korea as the world's most censored country, right? So corrupt, we've reached a whole new height, but at the top of power, the dictator is still in sight. To the people, Belen, Afar, Hadarib, Nara, Rashaida, Tigrinya, Kunama, Tigre, and Saho. The 9 tribes that make up Eritrea, 9 different tribes all under one broad roof. 9 strong tribes that make our country bulletproof. Being a different tribe doesn't mean you are better or worse. Doesn't mean that a specific tribe comes first, because in the end you are all human, dying of the same thirst. Yes, the thirst for water, but how about the thirst for freedom? The thirst for reason. Stop silencing your voices because it's about to be comeback season. Isaias feeds off of the tension between people, so let's not be divided. If you have something to say, do not hide it. It's bad enough that he's tearing us apart, so if we do the job for him, he would not mind it. No matter what race, religion, gender, or tribe, the words difference, culture, togetherness, diversity, and acceptance should be glued to our vocabulary, because those will be our concrete building blocks. And trust me when I say that we can be legendary. Just remember that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that solidarity will keep us strong till our message hits. We will tear that man to bits. Our voice is not just our voice, it's for the ones now and for the ones who have fallen. No more stalling. Tic-tac, Isias. Your end time is calling. Thank you.
The next speaker will be Ato Mahmoud, and there you go.
السلام عليكم كما لكم كما يوعلكم كيف حالكم مبار لومي زصبوق أخيبا بتعمي قالنا قال اسمان بتعمي زمسجن زرباي تزاربة أبتي عنقي أبتي نحنا دليو شوتيو وقع زلا بحقي دحريات ذات زربا خن الزرب باي كلين يوجنسي نحنا بحقي إريتراويان إريتريا خبت بهالكابسسان حمشتين كل جزء بدك سقاين مكران زرعنا نجار يلان كسحجي أحواتنا خاب تسعان حدين مش جمرو كاب كران تراي مجمريا 230 ممهران كاب بيتهم كاب جزوم ليتهم دقوم قديفهم كابو مس 9 من جمرنا زي وحلا عدهالو سلازي نحنا بو تعطيلو اندغنا سدرانا ابكرن 63 بحنسب بحدا قمت تأثيرهم بحدا ليتي بحنت بعلتي تقاتلهم كاب عد قيح كاب سراي كاب كلو جزاي إذا عد سقاي زي ركبوا سبيا بالله كاب بدك توم تقادلت نحنا ذهبنا كاب قالن كاب بدك تبعتين ذهبنا سوءاتنا درجة 6 شحيبنا إذا جنا ناتنا تشمو إذا خونسي أي قباني نيرو إذا عصبناتنا إذا خونا ينبرين عدنا رخيبنا إلنا نحنا عدنا رخيبنا إلنا ناسنا رخيبنا إلنا عدنا خدنا كامبانيات خنقبر مسحنا كامبانينا وريرو حوي كاب عسران 3 عمد غيرو له أبي كم زلاي فلتني شدش توقع العم سبيتو شدش شاو عاي رأسو أبي كم زلاي نفلتني ناكس عجي مستوم ممهران كاب كرنز توسدو شدشته 6 children and his wife he left it back until now from 1979 where is everybody أبي لو دقنا أحواتنا كاب G215 كابوم جميركا كندي عبيتنا أب ودا قدناي أب إثريا كاب تمرتين أب هوسبيتالاتن كندي زعري أب جهنم مسات أوريدو أمزلو دقنان أبوتاتنان أهلي قزلو نحنا كلنا بحنساب كلنا يأكل بحلا عدا هلو خنبلا لنا يأكل خنبلا لنا إناف it is enough يا أخلنا حجوين نحنا تسينا ينازل لنا أي تحمقوا دقنا نحنا نباخم أحلفنا لنا حلافناتنا بدقنا سلازي أي تحمقوا نقد ميت خنقسقس لنا أزيق وحلنا عدها له ما نقيسنا خن سدو بزكاء لنا متن بزكاء لنا خنق على سلنا نحنا بزكاء لنا ناي ليبيا دقنا وانا حتتنا منقستنا منقست كندا دما ناي دونيشن زم ناي كندا دما حدر أي خبر اللوم نحنا ونبزك لنا حنت نجار خنقبر بزيا يلابو منقستنا كندا دما زو قداي ناي ليبيا خرّي اللوم ناي ليبيا ترى كويس كلنا أبيت مأسر تزلوا أبعدنا زلوا كلهم عشحات أب قدا قدي ميتهم ديوم اللودهم زي نفلت أب كله أب نايت يونيشن كباصح مال اختنا كريك وق نحنا كملو كم زنا إحنا رخيبنا يزلنا أب ملو علم ريناين فلتنا زي ترى أي قط محجي أي ترينين زين إحنا رخيبنا يزلنا سقم سلازي نحنا خنق على سلنا بحقي صبوق لنا إلنا أبزين إحنا صبوق بلعنا توم دقنان أب تحت قداقود زلو أب ليبيا تأثيرهم فرقهم أب بحري أب سينا بزي نقرام سبعي بو أملاخ دائما قصون بلا لنا ودحنكم وحدرا يبلنا دقي حدراكم حدرا ناي سواتنا حدرا ناي سواتنا خنوسد لنا قدن حدرا ناي سواتنا كنرسع يبلنا نسوقن بأجر رقيس وأجر الرقص بأجر رقيس ويو حضرنا ناي سواتنا بأجر رقيس وسلزخنا نحنا قالنا جوار رح درخم ساين الرسعيننا إلنا خن بقص لنا حضر زوم دقيب لكم الله ودحنكم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you Ato Mahmoud. ما programنا نمود قصي حجي خزارب زدلي وي خم عدم لازم نعيش تقواتنا زدلي تلي ندرك كفتي عدا في ساعات كلنا. If anybody want to speak, the stage is open. Can give you a chance to speak.
By the way, غنديلا عندنا أبزعدي organize نخون كم درنا كل خفلت على هو بكل ميديا أبزحت إرجزيت ما أخيبا لنا أب ماس ميديا خزر قحيو يزخر الساعة يقولون organize نخون لنا بزكاء لنا كلكم بفلاي دكنستيو ندلكنا لنا دكنستيو واحد لنا أي نحن كلكم نعيشتو دكنستيو everyone has to involve. Please join us. Let's do it. Let's go forward. This is the right time. We don't have to slow the momentum. Okay, guys, let's do it. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna ask Lydia to come to the stage. Lydia.
So Susie right here will be collecting name, numbers, and emails for future protests and events. We do plan to have a fundraiser sometime in the future, so be sure to visit her. And also, I wanted to give important information. So Canada does have a UNHCR branch office. They're in Ottawa, open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Monday to Fridays. You can all call them at 613-232-0909 to ask for the evacuation of refugees in Libya. You can also visit them at 280 Albert Street, Suite 401, Ottawa, Ontario. The Mayor of Kitchener also has an office here, open from Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. His name is Barry Verbonovic. You can call him at 519-741-2300. Lastly, I'd like to give the information for the Minister of Immigration, Ahmed Hussein. You can ask him to put pressure on the Eritrean government and to evacuate refugees from Libya. His number is 613-954-1064. Thank you.
All right, good. Okay, so this will broadcast on Asena TV. If you can tune in. As Musia said, we're planning to have a YAKL meeting on the 26th, which is next month, and we'll post all the details on Facebook, all on social media, and be part of it. And again, this was initiated by the youth, and we just coordinate and help them, which is a very good initiative, and we'll help them down the road too. And بتعمي غنينا أخذ الفوتو ولدي نتيهم نعم نتبع محبكم تعم thank you. نزمة أورحي ورا عصرت إسران شدشتن كأخيبا خلونا إنها يأكل في كل بوستر ندال ولا نحجي أو بتساتفها حجزنا ሕጂ ከምቲ ዝጀመርናዮ ብዝክረ ሰማዕታት ክንሓፅ ኮይና ሓፍ ክትብሉ ክሓተኩም ተጠንቀቕ سلام عرفي. Thank you.
All right. Good to see you today. So I have a couple of questions I'm going to ask you. And first of all, I want you to introduce yourself. And the second one is, what make you to stand out for the voiceless? What is the trigger? There's a lot of youngsters that side the regime, but what was the trigger to make you stand up for the voiceless? To say enough is enough.
My name is Lydia. I'm 19 years old. And I guess what got me to speak up was the realization that I have so much privilege here in Canada. I was born and raised here, so I can say whatever I want, but people back home will get in prison for the same things that I'll say. So that's basically why I speak up, because they can't.
Hi, my name is Saneet, and I'm 19 years old. Why I am part of this movement is when I was little, when my parents would sit with their friends and their family, there's so much hate like between each other, and I always wondered like, why is there so much hate? And then like as I grew up, I realized it's ICS. He did such a great job at like making us hate each other. That's why we're not like developing. So, and then Lydia, this amazing woman right here, she told me about this movement, and I just right away I wanted to get involved. I wanted to help, because I said the problem here is the people. ACS is one person, but he's done such a great job at separating us. Like, we became weak. That's why we have to come together as a nation and take that one person down, and that's why I joined this movement.
Okay, so my name is Elizabeth, and I'm 18, and why I am a part of this movement is pretty much because like I just just looking back at like news and like articles, I just see like so many Eritreans that are struggling, and so many Eritreans that are fleeing the nation and like risking their own lives just to leave their country, and like and just like dictatorship, and there's like no democracy in Eritrea, and like it's not on main media news, and no one's really talking about it, and it's like it's our duty, it's our nation, and it's our responsibility, even though we don't live there anymore, that as a generation we need to come together and be a voice for the people that are suffering, and the people that are in shipping containments, that are in refugee camps struggling, being abused. It's our responsibility to be a voice and to share with people their struggles, and yeah, that's something that I'm very passionate about, and I continuously am going to be passionate about and talking about it and be a part of this amazing movement.
Thank you. Great answers. The next question I have is, they are the same people, the same younger generation that's born here and grow up here and have all the privilege you guys have, but really ignoring what's happening back in Eritrea. They see it every day on Twitter, on Facebook, on social media, but they don't have that that the one you guys have to say enough is enough. I mean, it's very simple stuff. So how can we, reach those people, and what message can you send them?
I think most of that does come down to either selfishness or ignorance. A lot of people don't know what's happening in Eritrea, even though people do post about it. And there's also, PFDJ is trying to tell them it's all lies. These are fake. These are Ethiopians trying to ruin our country, things like that. But I think the best way to get involved would to be join One Day Seyoum. It's an organization of young Eritreans, and also Reclaim Eritrea.
I think me personally, I grew up in Eritrea and I came here when I was 10 years old. But like my parents, they did a very good job of not letting me know what's going on around. So I think it's lack of awareness. People it's not out there that there's a problem in Eritrea. Like all our community, to talk about what's going on in Eritrea, it's like it's not something that happens. So if we put what's going on more in people's face, I think that's how they're gonna be like, oh wow. Like when Lydia told me, that's when I start to do my research, because I didn't even know. Because even though before I see on social media, social media has fake news and stuff. Like, so if you put it more out there, people will see it for themselves.
Yeah, I agree with them. And also it's just kind of like, I feel like your parents play a big influence on you. I feel like you're obviously gonna listen to whatever your parents tell you, because that's where they grew up. That's what home is to them. So I feel like a lot of like youth are just like kind of in a way brainwashed by their parents in a way, and they think that because their parents say it, like they should support what their parents support. But like it's important to do your own research and see like, oh, if it's so great, if it's such a great country, why are we all leaving? Why are we here? If it's so good, why are we outside of Eritrea? Why is everyone leaving Eritrea? Like, you should be curious enough to do your research and see what's leading people to leave the nation, And it's just like, it's ignorance. Like, if you're ignoring something, like, because you don't know about it. So doing your own research is what's gonna give you that knowledge to know more about it and to spread the awareness with everyone else.
Absolutely, you got it right. And just to take you back to today's event, we had a successful event that was initiated by you guys, and I would like to say thank you. I'm one of the committees of the Yaakl movement here in Kitchener Waterloo, and going forward we're going to support you whatever you need. And the young generation, do you guys see things from different angle? You have, they're the smartest ones, and if you see 80% are the majority, silence majority. The 10% supports the government and 10% on the justice seeker side. So I'm not talking about the youngsters, I'm talking about the parents. And so how can we have those 80% they know the truth, they seen it, they hear it every day, but they don't want to associate with the 10% justice seekers, the just silent majority? How can we have them to the side of the justice seekers? That way we can defeat the regime.
I know a lot of people like that, and I think it'd be very difficult because they do have financial aspects to it. Like, they do have homes in Eritrea they don't want to lose. They do want to go back and visit. They want to see their family. So it'd be hard to move them. But I guess we have to remind them, like, our freedom of our people is better than having a vacation there. It's worth more than a home there. It's worth more than visiting the beaches. If the people of Eritrea can't enjoy the beauty of it, why should you?
More awareness. I think a lot of people truly are not aware of what's going on in Eritrea, because we're here, we have privileges, we're living nice, it's very hard to see something that you're not experiencing. So if we could throw more events such as this wonderful event, people will be more involved. Like I've seen some people here that never ever even reply to my text, but since their friends came, they came and they saw for themselves, and I saw them nodding. So the more awareness you raise out there, the more people are going to take actions.
I feel like when you're here and you have all the privileges to speak up, and we live in Canada where we have freedom of speech, and you're not using that privilege you're not using your platform to speak, then that just means that Isaias is winning, because he's silencing your voice and you're outside of the country, which is just even worse. So you have that opportunity out of the country to help those people that are suffering, and it's your responsibility to use your voice and to reach out to people. So if you're silencing yourself, even though you're outside of the country, that just means he's winning, and we shouldn't have that. We should be stronger together outside of the country and using our platform, our privileges, our freedom of speech, our rights to advocate for those people, for sure.
Absolutely. We coming to close to. I'm gonna ask you conclusions now. It's amazing for me. Although, as Linda said, they have houses, but that house doesn't have electricity. That house doesn't have water. It's basic stuff. I mean, how can you enjoy a vacation in a house that doesn't have electricity or doesn't have water? Because the shopping center, there is not even enough things you can buy, and it doesn't make sense. And as you said, the only way we can defeat the regime is by united. I mean, unless we united, we cannot defeat the regime. So I appreciate your courage, stand up for the right thing, and as a young generation, it's very important you talk to the younger generation, because they do understand your language and they have the same perspective as you are. And I'm gonna give you anytime you want to make your conclusion, and if you wanna send a message to the people of Eritrea or to the young YPFDJ, and
I guess for what I'd have to say to the diaspora Eritreans who are young like me is to put yourself in the shoes of young Eritreans back home. If you're a teenager right now, 15, 16 years old, you'd be in Sawa right now. You'd be getting abused, even sexually assaulted, and doing all this work for free. If you're even older than that, if you don't pass these college exams, you're subjected to slavery for the rest of your life. Even when you are accepted into these colleges, you're both a soldier and a student. Put yourself in their shoes and just think of how every time you want to criticize the government, you're imprisoned, you're intimidated, you're harassed, you're killed. Just put yourself in their shoes, I guess, is all I could say.
What I could say is let's come together. The reason why Isaias is winning is because, like I said previously, it's because there's hate. Let's come work together, and we could truly bring Isaias down if we work together. If we're not working together, he's going to win.
I just wanted to say that there's just overall generally there's your voice has so much power, and it should be more than just a hashtag. And anyone can say anything on social media, but to really put yourself out there, I challenge everybody to come out of their comfort zone and to really see this issue and to really see that this is reality, that people are dying, people are suffering, getting abused, and you need to do something about it, and it's your responsibility as it's your nation. And you know, at the end of the day, we all want to go back to our country. We all want to see Eritrea. We all want to witness the beauty of it. But you know, as we are outside of the nation, we should still do something about it. And I challenge everyone to be aware, to research, to go out there, and to not just make it a hashtag, to not just be behind a screen, but to really put yourself out there and do something about it, because you have the platform to do whatever you want to do. So
say something. There's a lot of people who also feel like their voice isn't important or it won't have much of an impact, but if that were the case, many journalists and politicians wouldn't be locked up right now. So your voice is very important. ECS is scared of you, so continue to speak up. And also, like you were saying, like many of us do want to go back home, but if we don't defeat this dictatorship, we won't have a country. It could be sold, it could be completely destroyed. So make sure you protect your country.
Joe, well done, guys. Really appreciate your courage, and I want you to keep it up, the good work. And I can see light at the end of the tunnel. For sure, this dictatorship will be gone for good. All right, thank you very much.